Katie with String Expert. Today we're working on the first Noel. Now in the last video we went through and we got all the notes right. Now what we want to do is go through and really fine tune and perfect all of the double stops in the piece because that is so important. So what I want you to do is go through and just identify all the double stops. That's all we're going to work on today. So the first set of double stops we have is an A and a D, so it's really simple. So we're just going to play those and let's just practice playing those two together. Now let's practice getting into the double stop. So let's take the measure before the double stop and play the notes and then play the double stop. Let's practice that one more time. Now let's practice getting into the double stop and getting out of the double stop. So we're going to play the notes before, the measure before, the double stop, and the notes after in that same measure. And that's it. Alright, so that one was easy, but I wanted to kind of show you the process. So now let's go to the next set of double stops, which is not hard, easy at all. It is hard. So let's play through it nice and slow. Now we're going to practice this. So what we're going to do is put our third finger down and we're going to play all of the top line notes, but ignore the bottom line notes in terms of playing, but we're going to finger both. So even though we're not making a sound with our bow, we're concentrating on making the sound with the one while still applying the fingerings to the others so we can double check and make sure that we're doing our fingers correct. So we have third finger and we're going to think in our head open D, open A. Now we have another open A, but we're going to put our third finger down on the D string and double check to make sure that we're nice and round, not to hit the string as we play the last A. And then we're going to take our third finger off for second finger and open A again. Now let's go back and do the opposite. Let's work on the bottom lines. So we're going to play the open D while we still have our third finger down on the A string. Then we're going to lift up our third finger and play the open A, playing the open A while we play the D again. Now we're going to put our third finger down for G, still thinking open A. And then second finger, still thinking open A. So let's try that whole section again with the double stops. And one more time. Now let's go a measure before the double stops, and we'll play the measure before and play the double stops. And add the notes after in that same measure after the double stops. And there you go. All right, let's move on to the next double stop, which is nice and simple. It's F sharp and A together. Let's practice the F sharp separately from the A. And then let's check the A. Let's put it together. And then let's practice getting into that double stop by playing the measure before. And then let's add the notes in right after the double stop. And then moving on, we're really close to the next one. We're going to play open D and open A. Now technically this isn't a double stop, but we move into two other double stops. So let's just play the D third finger. And then we have the B and the open D. And then open A, open A. So now let's practice them separately, starting with the top. We're still going to finger the bottom. In this case, it's just an open D, so it makes it a little bit easier. So we have A. Now let's practice the bottom line while still thinking in our head how to finger the top line. Put your first finger down even though we're not going to play it right now. Take it off for the open A. Now let's put it all together. Now let's add a measure before to practice getting into the set of double stops. And let's play it again, and we're going to play the measure afterwards. Now, I would spend a significant amount of time really working on the intonation in your bow sound when you're playing double stops. Don't use a ton of weight and be really heavy when you play double stops because you're playing two strings at the same time. So that added weight just makes it sound clunky and kind of awkward, especially with this piece. You want to be super relaxed and light with your bow so it creates this beautiful sound. So that's the end of part 2 to the first Noel. I hope you'll join me next time where we'll talk about a lot about expression and how to make this piece the most beautiful one you can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.